swear I love that. That is just. Can y'all see me when that starts? I'm just
No,
over here like a big, really, John. No, no,
no, we can't. We
really,
can't. We can't.
no.
Yeah, yeah. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's doing
Ashe.
exactly what it's supposed to do.
Because I'll be
Ashe.
so excited. Um, well, all right. Let me make sure that I'm posted, especially on Facebook. Yeah, there we go. Meditation.
Mm.
I see it.
Oh,
We pinned
okay.
that
There we go.
post. Great.
There
Got
we
a
go.
couple people in the room right now. I want to thank everyone for stopping by and checking out our live tonight. This is Things That People Don't Want to Talk About, brought to you by me, God Level. I am a nurse, I'm an entrepreneur, and I have this podcast. John, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
John Nicholson here, aka John Skywalker, the Sly Talker, lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and father. The music that you are hearing in the background is from my second album, Higher Dimensions. I have 3 hip hop albums currently in rotation on all major streaming platforms. Look for John Skywalker on your streaming platform device, and salute.
Salute. Diamond, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Absolutely. I am Saba Diaman, Saba or teacher of ancient African spiritual science, also personal trainer, nutritionist, and degreed engineer, and father of 4 proudly. And I am an overall student of life, and just happy to be here. And so thank you all, and just look for me on my Facebook page after my name, Diamin Demir. All right, thank you.
King Newborn, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Y'all hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes.
Say something real quick.
Mic
Hey.
check.
Oh, okay. I can
One,
hear
two,
y'all.
one,
I'll
two.
be real low. Anyway, peace, peace, peace. Good evening all. It's King Newborn of Newborn Everything. You can follow me on all social media platforms. I apologize for my late intro, but as always, I am.
I am. Okay, I don't know what. Okay, there it is. Welcome, King. All right. Tonight's topic of conversation. Well, we just want to sit back and learn some things. We're gonna turn this into a Diami show because this man, yeah, he knows more than us. We're not gonna get too deep into it, but we just want to touch on the basis if you're not familiar with meditation, which is calming the mind, is centering yourself and being at peace slash homeostasis. I know that he said it was a neuron effect. Am I saying it properly?
Yeah, yeah. Part of meditation is dealing with neuroscience as well. Yes.
Neuroscience. Stop laughing at me, John.
What? I just think it's cute. It's cute. It's like, oh, okay.
You know, I'm gonna let Diamond take it away. Go ahead, Mr. Diamond.
I can't believe that I'm being put out like, go, you go ahead and go.
Yes,
But okay,
I
it's
did
okay,
warn
it's
you though,
okay.
didn't I? I said, we're
This
turning
week,
this into a Diami
yeah,
show.
today you warned me out, but it's okay. Look, I am happy to serve. I am happy to serve. So
Mm,
I'm just going to bring up some things, and then we can have dialogue in between. Now, the thing about it is, meditation is is something I believe it's a method and tool. Uh, not is underutilized,
mm,
especially in the Black community. Is very much underutilized, and the reason why is because there are specific reasons why we should meditate. Meditate should be a common practice. It should be more common than what it is. It's not just only only meant for the Buddhists and monks of Tibet,
Mm.
so forth. Uh, there is a profound reason why we need to meditate. Meditation allows us to reclaim our essential nature. You know, reclaim the essence of who we truly are.
Mm.
It is like plugging in the your cell phone. It
Mhm.
recharges us.
Ooh.
It's a way that we
There it
reclaim
is.
our true identity when we do so. Um, so what we have to realize is during meditation, many people meditate for different reasons.
Mhm.
Uh, I meditate for the reason of divine ascension.
Mm.
Divine ascension. And divine ascension for me means that I am bringing forth all of my divine qualities and allowing them to be the initiator of all of my thoughts, feelings, and actions. Now, in order to do that, I have to understand, I have to be able to separate the outer noise from the inner wisdom. And so it's only through meditations that I've learned to do that as I've gone through these 15 plus years of spiritual initiation. So meditation itself has helped me
Mm.
reclaim the true voice, that inner voice, and begin to listen to it. It's allowed me to do that. And how and why? Well, I know that there are sometimes we know that there are some things that we should be doing versus
Mm.
what we actually do. And now the dichotomy between that is that you know what is right and you know how to be right,
Mm.
but there's this knee jerk or automatic response that ends up being the opposite of what you know to be right, right? So
Mm.
meditation actually helps you get control of all of that. We're going to talk about a little bit about the therapeutic aspect of meditation as well. All right,
Right.
the therapeutic aspect. You had already mentioned before, God level, about how it was a tool for assisting with ADD, ADHD, and so
ADHD
forth.
children, children who are have severe outbursts, behavior problems, talking back in class, just fidgety, always moving. Um, they found that having them meditate just a couple minutes a day has drastically reduced their behaviors in class and
Hmm.
has allowed them to focus more on the work. So
Hmm.
that's actually a very good thing.
Absolutely. What we've also seen in meditation is that it increases gray matter in the brain.
Mm.
Now, the more gray matter, the gray itself is that means that there is more neurological connections within the gray matter versus the white matter in the brain. All right. So when they've looked at some of the brain scans uh, from expert meditators like monks, people who meditate, we're talking about
Oh.
for hours and hours at a time, versus people who don't meditate. Where they notice more white matter in the brains of those who don't meditate, who meditate a lot less, and
Mm.
then more gray matter. So the gray matter is actually thicker, and
Mm.
also what they noticed was a more of a solid connection between the prefrontal lobe and the cingulate cortex, of the brain. And again, see, if we start talking about that, then I'll be getting in too deep. But just look those up. Okay. Look those up. And also what meditation has already also done in the limbic system of the brain, which houses the amygdaloid or amygdala. The
Mhm.
amygdala are the that holds our emotional memory,
Mm.
and it seems that the smaller the amygdala is, the more angry we are, or let's say the more out of control and the more emotional we are. So what they found in people who meditate often, that they have larger amygdala, so there's more room for emotional control as well.
Mm.
So there's a lot of benefits. Not only that, but we're talking about controlling blood pressure because it
Mhm.
reduces the effects of cortisol and
Mm.
stress. And we're talking about also just overall neurological response in the body. The and also the an increased tolerance for pain through
Mm.
meditation.
Ooh.
Absolutely, and
What?
I can testify with that firsthand. Firsthand. I actually, when I first started meditating, and I started meditating every single day, and
Okay.
then I end up having to do the one thing I hate doing, which is going to the dentist. And so it had been a while since I've been to the dentist. So when I went to the dentist, they had to do some extra stuff. And I remember the dental hygienist telling me, she said, "You have a high tolerance of pain, don't you?" I said, "Not really," because she had something in my mouth. I'm like, "Not really." She said, "I'm digging all in your gums." Like she was root planing, not just cleaning my teeth, but she had to get to the roots. She had this thing all in the roots of my, it was just a little irritating, but it was not painful. And she said normally people are screaming and squirming, and she would have to do a local anesthetic, and she didn't have
Mm.
to do that on me. And I was like, wow, oh, I guess this stuff is working. So
Right.
there's a higher tolerance for pain, and it's because there's more of a separation between the the outer experience versus the inner experience, right? So there's more of that. So you know how to separate that. uh, I give to my students, they have, along with their assignments, they also have meditation assignments as well, along with the assignments that I give my students. And these meditation assignments are to firmly put in affirmations. Did you
Ooh.
know that affirmation without meditation is a waste of time? You know, you
Mm.
absolutely. All right. So that's my setup. Okay, that's my setup for what's
Wow.
what's what's to come. And so I hope you guys are curious enough, your ears are peaked enough, because we're gonna
Programming the
dive
I
into that.
am.
subconscious. Programming the subconscious.
I am. You
Programming the
said
subconscious.
meditation without, let me see, affirmation without
Affirmation.
meditation is pointless.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. But well, let's think of the word affirmation. At its root is affirm, which means to firmly fix something or to strengthen something, right? Well, you can't really do that if number one, if you're not attaching it to something solid. Okay, now if you attach an affirmation to an emotion, emotions are
Mm,
always wavering, right? So you
yes.
need to get past the emotion and attach it to a true conviction in the
Mm,
centered absolute self. All right. So when my brother King Newborn comes on, he says, "I am."
Ooh.
It's in that I am that you need to attach your affirmation to.
Yes.
Now we have to learn how to get to that I am through meditation. Yes, go ahead, God level. I saw you
Dre
trade chain
asked the
going up.
question, how does one begin to meditate for the beginner?
Okay.
And we
All
were
right.
just
So
talking about this backstage, like, and you were
yeah.
giving, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead and answer that. Go ahead.
Well. So we're gonna get to that.
Yeah. Let's
We're
set up
gonna
the
get into the
environment.
the yeah. We're gonna
No,
get
he
into the
was just answering a
techniques.
question. He was asking a
Mhm.
question. Dre was. Go ahead.
Right. Uh huh. So the thing is that even before we begin to meditate, you have to know why you are meditating.
Hmm.
If you don't understand why, then it makes it harder to meditate. So we have to dispel a lot of the reasons why people think meditation is only for relaxation. So let's get into its definition first. All right.
Hmm.
Let's get into its definition. To meditate, I'm going to ask you all and ask anybody else out there, what do you think meditation means? What does it mean to meditate?
Well, if we were to go by a English dictionary, and we were to look at their etymology, I would presume, and this is just coming from memory, to contemplate, to think, to ponder, to wonder. So
Mhm.
that's the English approach to it.
Okay. Okay. And that's right on point actually. Many people think to meditate really means to be still, close your eyes, and to relax. Relaxation
Oh.
is one stage of it. Is one stage of it.
Don't be making fun of people.
No, it's serious. No. This is what it's about. You know, we have stereotypical or cultural stereotypes of what meditation is. We imagine a
Yes.
monk,
Hmm.
crisscross applesauce, hands like
Yes.
this, wearing chakra bracelets, with a red dot right here, saying home and hitting a
That's
singing
right.
bowl.
That's
Home.
right. Now, John.
It's true. So we gotta identify what that is versus what
Right.
it really
Yeah.
is. We gotta
Now
do
tell us
that.
again, little by little, John. What did you say your definition is? Let's break that down.
Yeah,
You said
the etymology is going to refer to
you
think,
said
to
contemplation.
ponder, to contemplation.
Okay. Okay. So when we take those things, pondering, and they all come from a Latin word mean meditat, uh, um, meditat, right? And so what we have to realize is that even that itself, but even from that, it comes from another word, meet, which is mete, which means to measure. Okay, so what we're looking at here then is, but when we contemplate something, we are also measuring something. So what is it that we're measuring? We're measuring not only our behavior, but we're measuring our thoughts, and we're trying to get in front of them, and we're measuring, most importantly, our perception of the world around us. Okay, we're measuring that. Now when you measure that, you have to have something to measure that up against, right? So what are you basing your measurement off of? And so this is why, our ancestors say, know thyself. This is It's extremely important to understand who you are, who you are. And when you know who you are, you know how it is you're supposed to act or participate in the world around you. Then you'd understand also what the function of this world is, what purpose it serves. And in serving that purpose, then you'll know the part that you play in the unfoldment of that purpose. Right. So then meditation then brings us back to us living out our true purpose within all of creation. Okay. So and that comes down to personal morality, personal morality. And because when we're outside of that, the condition then is dis-ease, is
Hmm.
dis-ease. So everything that we've talked about so far, especially, since I've been here with you guys on the show and everything, it all can be alleviated with meditation. And when we're talking about mental wellness, we're talking about physical wellness and so forth, and emotional um, intelligence that can all come through and be attained through meditation. And again, different forms of it. So these are some of the reasons why that we must meditate, because if we keep on if we keep being bombarded with all of the stuff that's going on in the outer world, we become identified with the outer
Mm.
world.
Attached.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all attachment. We set up these strong, solid attachments with the outer world, right? And so what we have to know, what we have to understand is that attachment is the source of all of our issues, from disease to mental crisis to problems in our relationships and everything. Okay, it's the point. Even our lack of abundance, our lack
Ooh.
of prosperity, comes from literally attachment. It comes
Mm.
from there. So what we have to do, since we are identified with this outer world, the outer world is really false. It's a
Mm.
false sense of identification. So with meditation, we reclaim that identification. You know, so we reclaim that identification, right? So so this is what we have to do. We have to first of all set a goal for ourselves. And in setting these goals, this is what affirmations are for. All right, affirmations. So we come up with an affirmation. Um, do any one of you work with affirmations at all?
I do. I have a list. I can just do.
You have a
Let's see.
list. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I have a list.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I have folders. So I do.
Uh-huh.
So affirmation. It just depends. It just depends on what my goals are for that month. So let's just say we're in July.
Okay.
So I do several. Okay, I do several, and I do it at a particular time of the day, which is early morning. So somewhere around. Well, we both do our affirmations. It's usually like in the morning. So I'll just say one of these. I am creative, or I am
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
optimistic. I mean, I got several here now, but I'm just gonna say I am creative. So it just
Okay.
depends on what my goal is for that month. So I'm I'm writing down these affirmations and I'm capturing them, but they have to be true to me. I can't. I'm not gonna say I can't. I'm not gonna devise an affirmation that doesn't really align with me. I'm not gonna say something like, um, "I am famous. I'm super
Hmm.
famous," or "I." I don't know. I am enjoying having a million views on TikTok. I'm not gonna say an affirmation like that because I know deep down it's not true to me.
Okay.
So I'm
Right.
creative.
Okay. So I am
Okay.
creative. Do you have one God level?
We're not sharing.
Okay.
Oh,
What about King Newborn?
You know, we're not. No, no, no. I have, yeah, like
It's
John. I
okay.
have folders of stuff that I write down for
Excellent.
myself, but I like to repeat it throughout the day.
Hmm.
And it's when my mind gets to going left, I have to bring it back
Hmm.
and say the same
Okay.
things.
Okay. I don't know where that
Okay,
came from,
I don't
but all
know.
right. All
Who
right.
did that?
But
sound effect.
so
That
I'm
was a
looking
sound
at
effect.
like what? No, I don't think. I think there was somebody's outside, but it's okay.
Oh, okay.
But what so then that brings me back to what Melissa was saying. She said to me, to meditate is to evaluate. So when we talking about these affirmations, it is an evaluation. So it's an evaluation. Let's just take for instance, um, John says, "I am creative. I am
Yeah.
creative." So in meditation, you have to evaluate
Mm.
the degree to where that is presently true, the
Ooh.
degree. Okay, so when we're talking about, so we know John is very creative. We know he's creative, but what we see his creative out output is, or his expression, he may be wanting to be more creative in a different way, and he's probably like, I need to get that to that level of creation. So he's affirming within himself, I am creative. But the main thing is to affirm that you have to see what it is that's
Mm.
blocking you from hitting that ultimate degree of creativity. So this is where the evaluation is. You're evaluating, where is it in your own mental limitations, because you're supposed to be unlimited. But if you have any limitations in your thinkings about creativity, then this is something you're trying to affirm by getting rid of those blocks, those mental blocks, right? So that's what meditation helps you with. But it also helps you bring that affirmation into the present moment. It helps you personalize it and bring it into the present moment. And so when it becomes present, all things are also associated with it. So the emotion that's associated with that present moment is also there. And it's the emotion that mobilizes the spirit to manifest what it is that has been affirmed. You see? So meditation does all of that. And so you have to understand that when this is happening, and remember, the body cannot tell the difference between if you're imagining something versus if it's really happening. The body don't know the difference. It's going to respond the same way. And you can test that now. You can test that now. Start to think about something in the past that had you emotional. Just think about it. Your
Ooh.
heart rate's going to increase, your breathing's going to increase, and so forth. And you just imagining it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even happening,
Yeah.
right?
But it feels
So
real.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, King Newborn.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt because you
No, go
dropping
for it,
some
brother.
mad science. Um, First, I'm just gonna say when it comes to meditation, for me, a personal understanding of meditation is just to calm self. Period.
Hmm.
Whether that's through breathing, slow my thought process down, or just to evaluate everything that's around me outwardly, so that I can tame myself inwardly. Um, but what do I do as far as affirmations daily? I use Supreme Mathematics, and as today is the 17th, there will be knowledge. I'm sorry, excuse me. There will be knowledge, God, being born to build, destroy. And just off of that, when I wake up in the morning, or whenever I wake up on whatever set day it is, when I use Supreme Mathematics, I build from that particular point, and that sets the tone for me all day long. Therefore,
Mm.
I always say I am, because I already set the tone early in the day or when I first arise or awaken. So therefore,
I see.
that's my meditation throughout the day. So even when you break that all the way down, you take it from a knowledge standpoint to build, destroy, you have to understand that it's the information. I'm sorry, I messed that up. It's the knowledge that you're given, or sometimes new information that is received upon the knowledge that has been given to you, to where, as if you build, destroy, you're either adding to or taking away. It's never negative nor positive. You're actually creating more. Either you're creating more space, or the information that you have has to be disturbed a little bit in order to create a balance, or um, to help you elevate in your mindset about what it is that you do have to hold yourself accountable for, or like Melissa said, uh, evaluation of self. So if I constantly tell myself in my mind throughout the day, no matter who it is I encounter, or I call myself build or destroy with, I'm always either going to be a teacher or I'm going to be a student, and I have to stay mindful of that. One thing that Doctor, I was going to say Doctor. Uh,
I'm not the only
one,
one.
yeah, one of the things that brother Diamond spoke upon is that when you do um, try to have, no, I'm sorry, I can't say try to have. For those that don't understand knowledge of self, you actually have knowledge of self, not knowing you got knowledge of self. If
Hmm.
something hurts you, you know that pain. If something triggers you, you know that trigger. So when it comes to meditation, you know what it takes to calm you down. You know what it takes to hold yourself accountable to whatever affirmation you may have, or set the tone for the day. To add what brother Master John Skywalker said, and I emphasized Master, um, with each and every affirmation, with each and every affirmation that you have, it's another level of responsibility. With these responsibility, it has nothing to do with the outward movement of the world. It's a facade. So just like you
That's right.
using the tuning fork, or you have all your crystals, you're burning your oils and your incense. It At the end of the day, to build from Master John Skywalker to Brother Diamond, when you link those two together, is what you're doing mentally to connect the two, to say as if me doing oh, is supposed to
All
be
righty then.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
it's supposed to be bringing you to peace. Now the only thing that's bringing you to peace is that you're making these items that are outwardly
Mm.
tangible points for you to
Hmm.
control yourself. You're putting the blame and the responsibility on
Mm.
objects, which is a falsehood, because once these objects are not there anymore,
Mm.
who is held accountable?
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
and that's very key in meditation. You're holding yourself to a higher level of responsibility. that you're saying I'm going by any means necessary to govern myself at set level.
I say. I
Uh,
say.
that's my piece. And
I say.
again, and by the way, since we're speaking about meditation, the word love, depending on how you use it, can be an affirmation and meditation. So with that being said, I just
I
want
just did that.
everybody on this panel, and everyone that's tuning in tonight, I want you to know from the depth of my soul, I love each and every one of y'all, and I think that's something that needs to be shared through more so of action and not just the word. Because we easily are here today, gone tomorrow, and not being able to have that energy connection with positive energies around you and be able to transmit that throughout your day. That's another level of meditation for anybody that's paying attention. Just want to put that out there. You are a
I say.
convert. Uh, but like I said, I just want everybody to know I love each and every one of y'all, and meditation is real. You know,
I
every
say.
every episode we have is real. So we just raising a bar by having brother Amen, who is an
Yeah.
elder and a prime example of practice what you preach.
Hmm.
I say. I say. Now,
Hmm.
now you said such a mouthful, and I love the fact
Indeed.
that you use meditation as a form to calm you down, right? To bring yourself back to center,
Mm.
right? So I love that. That's always a step. In fact, the first step in meditation is bring yourself back to center. And I know when I first started meditating, I had to do that because I was such an angry person. My go-to emotion was anger, my go-to emotion. And so I was so quick-tempered, and I had to learn how to breathe, go into a contemplative mode, focus on breathing to bring myself back to center. Then I had to realize what was happening here. What was happening was I was reclaiming that identity, right? I was taking notice that the emotional reaction and response was only in my body. It was not in the true self. So you see, all emotions are chemical reactions in the body, which makes them again false. All emotions are chemical, and I can prove it to you. I can, and it does. You don't have to go far to see that. You can see I've already told you guys about cortisol, the stress response hormone, which is linked to any other thing like worry, anger, and so forth. We get adrenaline and epinephrine and all these. These are the chemicals that actually cause emotions. You see, they tell our body what to do, and so something like cortisol or adrenaline can turn passion into anger. You see, passion can be expressed without emotion, but when it becomes emotional, if it's not joy, the other side of that is anger, which is going towards fear, right? So then
Right.
it's the fear of something that turns passion into anger. All right. So that's a negative. So that's why we call these negative emotions. And so you have to remove yourself by realizing it's not real. It's not real. So all we're talking about is consciousness taking the wheel. Okay, conscious. You is reclaiming the driver's seat at that point. So that's what meditation is ultimately for. Now remember, you can only attain to the level at which you think you are. You cannot go beyond your own thoughts. So what does that tell you? That if you want to go further, you got to think higher. All
Mm.
right, you must think higher. You have to expand your consciousness,
Mm,
right? And
mm,
so
mm.
one of the main things, this is the way I always do this. Like if you have a flashlight and you point it down and you put it real close to the surface, you turn it on, and as you lift it up a little bit, you start to see a little bit of light underneath the flashlight, right?
Mm.
But remember, it's not illuminating everywhere. but then raise it up, increase its height. As you increase it, it
Mm.
expands, right? And go all the way up. The more you increase it, the more it illuminates. So this is what I'm talking about when we talk about increasing our vibration and the expansion of consciousness, how they are directly proportionate to one another. Okay. So just think about how that affects. It's the same thing. Elevate yourself. Meditation is used for that elevation because sometimes we get trapped in the noise of the external world. We get trapped in the noise of that external world and it weighs us down. It becomes that mud that actually we get trapped in. So meditation is what helps us pull us out of that mud. Now, what's happening psychologically or neurologically is our brains are going through successive cycles as we go through this. All right. Um, I'm going to share that with you guys real quick. And then I want to come back and we're going to answer some of the questions that are being asked. So give me 1 second. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see something. Let me cancel that.
I'm just waiting for it to come up.
Okay, yeah. Give me 1 second. Uh-oh. Hold up.
You want me to read some of these comments while you're doing that?
That would be
Brother Dom?
perfect.
Yeah. You could do that. Absolutely.
I'm gonna start right here at Dre. Dre said blessings. Peace to you, brother Dre. Peace, peace, peace. Um, let's go up a little bit further. Okay, we already did Dre question. J Love said to sort your thoughts, your mind, spirit, and soul to tap into complete self. Um, J Love also said yes, emotional intelligence. Miss Melissa said to me, to meditate is to elevate. J Love says affirmation should be obtainable. Uh, peace to Mother Denise. Peace, peace, peace. J Love says, I am stronger, better, and wiser. J Love says, I am that I say I am. I like that one.
I
Melissa said,
say.
do you feel affirmation should be spoken outwardly, real quick? Um, and I don't want to spook nobody, but the inner you speaks all the time. You just got to listen to
That's
it.
right.
Because right now, if everybody just said the word love in their mind, you would hear it and visually see it. Just want to point that out real quick. But I'll speak on that later, though. I'm going to keep going.
All
Um,
right.
Love Shine says, good evening, everyone. Peace and love Shine. Um, what do we have? J Love says, I am more that and conquer through Christ that gives me strength. My favorite affirmation. That's peace. That's peace. Joanna Smith says, good evening, all. Peace, Joanna. Um, Love Shine says, it's great to be here. I'm truly enjoying and being helped by this. That's love. I want to say to Miss Love Shine, um, the initial purpose that Miss God Level started this was for our culture slash community to be able to have a safe place to always come to, no matter what, based off the topics. Also based off the fact that we have these beautiful people on this panel with intelligent minds to be able to help us kind of walk through some of our experiences based off our knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and our experience. Um, so we here for each other. So just as well, you here for us, or you here with us, we're here with you as well.
For
So
I
real.
say.
we are students and teachers at the same time. We're interchangeable. Um, J Love said, we. Melissa said, much love, God. J Love said, love is an affirmation. Wow. Yeah, facts. J Love said, much love, bro. Peace to you, J Love. You already know. Love shine. Love never fails. Personal affirmation. And just to build off of this word love, it's still a chemical response that's being reduced, being introduced to the bloodstream throughout the body from the brain. Like Brother Diamond said, he's going to show you once I stop reading these. Um, so I'm gonna let him build on it because I was gonna go somewhere with it, but I'm gonna let him build on it.
Y'all
Melissa,
ready?
Melissa said, "King, we spoken. I mean, we spoke on talking to self in third person to calm and meditate. Facts, because at the end of the day, it's not the outward representation of any movable or immovable object to try to self check. You know what I'm saying, or to get you to center yourself. It's that voice within you or that inner God within you that's telling you you shouldn't be doing this. Remember what we spoke about earlier. You need to be this, or you need to be this. So that when you be like, you know what, I am feeling better today. I am doing better today. I am moving in a different path than I was yesterday. That's your third person. You might not acknowledge it as such, but that is your third person. J Love said this class is so bomb. Love Shine says yes it is. Melissa says leveling up, elevating up. And peace to every last one of y'all that comment here. I appreciate all this. I appreciate today's topic.
Yeah.
This hitting
I
home
say,
right now.
Yeah, it is.
I say. Mm,
All right, y'all ready?
yes.
There you go.
All
There you
right.
go.
All right. So we have brainwave and meditation, right? So as we are talking and interacting right now, we are literally in the beta brainwave. Okay, so and it's about 13 to 32 hertz, so it's cycles per minute. Okay, so that's the beta, and so this is the full waking state. We're fully conscious at this point, but the subconscious is actually kind of suppressed at this time, or we could say the will is fully active, but the spirit is uh, kind of subservient at this point. It's in a sub state. All right. So this is known as the fully awake state. Okay. Then I'm sorry, I went forgot my little points here, but it's a alert, normal alert consciousness, active thinking, fully active will, active conversation, making decisions, solving problems. These are all the things that we do in the beta state. Focusing on a task, learning a new concept. All right. Then we have the alpha state. So this is the point. Once we get into the alpha state, we begin to go into relaxation mode. So when we want to calm down, this is as deep as you need to go in the when it comes to meditation, is getting to the alpha state. All right, its frequency is 8 to 13 hertz or cycles per minute. Okay, as you can see, that's lower. It's going to be going through its brain waves or its wave cycles a lot slower at this point, and it's also the state that's physically and mentally relaxed. All right, so when you sit down and you just try to take a load off, then your brain cycles start to go down. Then alpha brain waves are some of the most easily observed and were the first to be discovered. They became detectable when the eyes are closed and the mind is relaxed. They can also often be found during activities such as yoga, just before falling asleep, being creative and artistic. Okay. And then after we go all the way through the relaxing stage of the brain, okay, and these are successive stages that you actually go to when you're getting into meditation. That's why I'm taking the time to go through these. So we have my favorite state. This is the theta state. And as you can see, it is 4 to 8 hertz or 4 to 8 cycles per minute. So the brain wave and brain activity is very, very slow at this point. Now, what do you notice about these brain waves? The decrease in its brainwave cycles, meaning that there is less outer activity. All right, there is less outer activity because the brain is for perceiving the outer world. That's what the that's why we have a brain, and this is why in ancient Egypt in ancient Kemet, when when a person died, they kept the organs as far as the where the heart, they left the heart in the body, but they harvested the stomach, spleen, and intestines, small and large intestines, and so forth, and the liver, but they threw the brain in the trash. You would think that's the most important part, right? But it's only important as long as you're alive. It does not hold anything else. It's only for interpretation. All right. So and when we talk about the outer activity, what we're talking about is the perception of activity going on outside of yourself, outside of your body. How you perceive the world around you. Any activity, your perception of any activity is what we call in outer activity. All right. So now the thing is that now we get down to the theta state. Now remember, in the beta state was fully awake, and we began to come down in the alpha state, and now in this theta state, which is 4 to 8 hertz, but it's this is where creativity, insight, dreams, and reduced consciousness are happening. So we saying reduce, not a complete cessation of consciousness, but it's reduced consciousness. Reduce, and what all we're talking about is outer consciousness, outer awareness. So we're retracting from the objective realm or world, and taking and turning our awareness internally to the subjective world. Okay, in this theta state, and according to Professor what's his name, Jim Logopoulos of Sydney University, previous studies have shown that the theta waves indicate sleep relaxation and occur more frequently in highly experienced meditation practitioners. Now I'm explaining why. The source is probably frontal parts of the brain, which are associated with monitoring of other mental processes. So remember earlier I told you guys that one thing they found in the people who meditate frequently, they found a connection between the prefrontal lobe and the cingulate cortex, and also there was changes and also in the amygdala as well. But also um, with these, with the reason why they found this state mostly in the highly experienced meditation practitioners is because this takes a while. It takes a while to be able to hold this state, which is that's the goal of meditation. We're talking about deep meditation, and when we talking about bringing affirmations, this is the state that you want to be in when you want to say your affirmations. And affirmations can take hold in this particular state, not just in the alpha state, but you have to be in this particular state. This is the same state that the hypnotist put you in, because it's a direct access to your subconscious, and it's where you can reprogram and rewire instantly in this state. All right, so this is important to understand, because once you get to this point, now you're in the midway between sleep and wake. So you're not sleep, but you're not awake either at this point. You have an awareness, a subtle awareness of what's going on around you, but there is no attachment. There's no engagement with what's going on around you. It's like just being in this void consciously. It's like being in this void, and you're, but at this point you're not asleep. All right. So this is the magic. The magic of meditation happens in the theta state. All right. And now it's the most frequently theta brain waves are strongly detectable when we're dreaming in our sleep. So think the movie Inception, but they can also be seen during deep meditation, okay, daydreaming, and when we're doing a task that is so automatic that the mind can disengage from it. Okay, so like these things that we're masters of, like walking, breathing, or something that you don't have to think a lot. Then you go into what they call a trance. This is the transcendental state. You zone out. That zoning out is putting you directly into the theta state. All right. Brushing your teeth, showering, so forth. Research has also shown a positive association of theta waves with memory, creativity, and psychological well-being. All right. so all right. So the reason why I love that, thank you, King. Uh, the reason why the frontal lobe is so important. The frontal lobe, in fact, give me a second here, and I'm gonna go back and hold on for a second. Let me go back and take you up to where we talk about that. So the frontal lobe is going to be here. Okay, so we have the prefrontal lobe right here. Okay, then we have the parietal, the occipital lobe, and then the temporal lobe. And within this area right here, you guys can see my cursor, right? I'm just assuming you can.
Yes.
Okay, good. So right in here, you have the cingulate cortex. It's going to be in the folds of the these folds right here. So you have to cut open this this part of the neocortex, and then you'll see the cingulate cortex. But the prefrontal lobe, this part of our brain, is the part for higher function. Okay, this is also exclusive only to mankind. And what I mean by that is there is no other animal or anything on the planet that has a prefrontal lobe. Okay, so even the other primates, even the intelligent dolphins and so forth, they do not have a prefrontal lobe. And mankind has a prefrontal lobe because it's associated with his divine faculties, his higher spiritual faculties. Now, what they found in serial killers and mass murderers, people who have no empathy for other people, is there's this part of the brain lights up a lot less or not at all. Okay, so this is how they know that when we see those serial killers, they have no activity in the prefrontal lobe, and the reason why is well, the way that how that affects us is that means that the other parts of the brain, like the neocortex, and then the two animal brains. Let me see the two animal brains. So the limbic system, which is right here. Okay, and then we have the R complex. And I said I wasn't gonna get into all this, but he asked. But this is the R complex or the reptilian brain. These are what we call the lower brains or the animal brains. Okay, they're the animal brains. So when the prefrontal cortex is not being accessed, these is what's dominating the neocortex, the behavior of the animal brains. Here sits your animal instincts. Okay, so emotions and all that stuff is born here in this region. And your fight or flight, this one signals the fight or flight, which is also going to be down here. Your natural instincts for making love, for, well, let's put it like this, mating, and knowing when to stand and fight or to flee, and think your basic survival instincts, in other words. But we connect with each other because of this region. But these two uh, instinctive regions of the brain needs also to be kept in check because we have to reason as mankind, and the reasoning is going to be happening because of the prefrontal lobe. We're gonna have we get logical also in the neocortex, but it's the free prefrontal lobe that actually says, okay, I'm not going to kill this person because even though I feel some fear coming from here, but I'm not going to react to it and kill this person, which would be coming from here, from this lower brain, from this reptilian brain. So it's the prefrontal lobe that tells us that we are not going to do that because this is really not one of those moments. Okay, so this is so with that we become less like predators and more like uh constituents of mankind. Okay, so So thanks for asking that. Wait a minute, let me go back here. Okay, so then I'm almost done, and then I'm going to get to some of the questions. So this is the theta wave. So remember what we're talking about. The theta wave is the goal and objective of going into meditation for making changes. Now we get into the delta wave, which is zero point 0.5 to 4 hertz, or zero point 0.5, so half a cycle to 4 cycles per minute. At this point, this is the sleeping state. This is deep sleep.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a sleep and dreaming, and these are the slowest of our brain waves and are the strongest when we are enjoying restorative sleep. Okay, and that's why also this is important. The word restorative. If we don't hit the theta or the delta and stay there long enough, then there are certain proteins that are built up in the brain just through natural thinking that are toxic to the brain, and we can only dispel it when we get into the delta state, and we have to stay there for long enough to for it to detox, for it to be moved out of the brain. All right, so this is why quality sleep is so important. All right, so this is also the state where the healing and rejuvenation are stimulated, which is why it's so crucial to get enough sleep each night. All right. Then we have the gamma state is heightened perception and learning. So that itself is above the beta state. So gamma state is only really taking notice in people that are highly spiritual. All right. So associated state is the heightened perception, learning, problem solving tasks. Gamma brain waves are the fastest measurable EEG brain waves and have been equated to heightened perception or a peak mental state when there is simultaneous processing of information from different parts of the brain. Gamma brain waves have been observed to be much stronger and more regularly observed in very long term meditators, including Buddhist monks. All right. So this is like a state of super consciousness, in other words. All right. So let's see. Do I want to go into this next slide? No, I don't want to go into the next slide. All right. So let me stop sharing here. All right, did I stop sharing? I did. All right, excellent. Um, so that's just a little bit to let you know what's happening during meditation. All right, so it's not something that you can just arbitrarily do. This ain't just sitting down, folding your hands, and closing your eyes. Meditation is a very active process. It's a very active process. And if you understand what to do and when to do it, you can have an effect on your overall life, a permanent effect. You can change your life with it. All right. So I'll stop there for a second and see, do we have any questions or comments or anything that we need to address?
I have a real quick. I just want to drop a small footnote to what Brother Diamond said. This is for the ones that are that sometimes we don't pay attention to the words that are being used in front of us daily. I want to speak on the word light. Reason why I'm saying the word light is because everything that Brother Diamond just broke down dealing with brain waves is light. If you were to cut, well, of course I can't see it with my naked eye, but if you were to cut the lights off and put too many brothers in the room, you would see that this little light of mine would shine. And it's nothing more than your frequency, your vibration from your brain. This is, this is real heavy. This science, I can't go into all the technical terms, but this is real that I'm speaking on. And this is why it's very, very important why they always say, hey, go get some sunlight so you can recharge. This is important. Like, seriously, though. This is important. So also what Brother Diamond is saying, it's important to get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, depending on the person, so that you can detox, quote unquote, I ain't gonna say quote unquote, so you can detox that calcified pineal. That's another thing. Yeah. So you can allow, and I'm glad you just pointed to Master John Skywalker. So you can allow that frontal lobe. Yeah. See that eye back there? Yeah. That frontal lobe to transmit. More importantly, if you look at anything that shows a Christos, around your
Mm.
crown chakra. That's your light. That's your
Mm-hmm.
aura. That is real. We
Hmm.
might not be able to see it, but it is very, very real, and it's very important to pay attention to it. You know, I'm gonna stop right there because I was finna build on something else with the third eye, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But
Oh
meditate,
yeah, yeah.
yes,
The
everybody meditate.
pulsation that you get when you meditate. Are you
And
familiar with that, Diami?
again, a lot of
It's
times it's that it happens different for a lot of people.
okay.
I in particular don't get a pulsation, but what I
Hmm.
do get is an awareness of other frequencies, colors,
Okay.
and things like that start
Okay.
to become to my awareness that were not there at first. You know, um, and so yeah, so it. But I've heard some people that actually experience a pulsation
Yeah. A
when they
pulsation.
start to meditate. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It
Absolutely.
raising your vibration, your frequency.
Hmm.
Well, then, brother Diamond and Master John Skywalker, I'm pretty sure based off of your nourishment regimen of how you eat, your practice of how you
Mm.
eat daily, allows
Yes,
you to be allows your body to on a cellular level to continue to
Mm.
detox.
Mm.
Therefore, brother Diamond may not have experienced that. For myself and God level, I'm gonna say that what brother Diamond just spoke on, I experienced it twice from
hmm
fasting.
hmm
Prior to that, I used to get a little. I felt like it was a headache, but what it was, I was increasing the blood flow up here to activate the frontal lobe. I'm sorry, I'm just
hmm
sharing with everybody. I don't know if anybody else
no,
experienced that, but
no.
I thank you, God level, for bringing that up, though. But yeah,
yes.
that's
Corey
real.
Corey just said I've been accustomed to colors of light and slight pulses throughout my body. Mind you, it took much practice to get to that point, and
It
he's not
did.
lying. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
consistency.
You have to be
Absolutely.
consistent, and then it took a while for this to pulsate, and then after you continue to do it, it didn't take long for it to start.
Hmm.
And when you
Yeah.
will see light and
Scary,
in this,
scary. That's what it is. It's scary.
how can I put it was almost like it was traveling around me.
Of course it was.
Yeah,
Of course it
but
was.
and I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, okay, this is it. So yeah, that's one of my experience with
See, and
meditating.
that's the experience that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what that inner world looks like, not the outer world. But see, so remember that we see on a very small, and we can detect a very small of the light spectrum, very small aspect of it. So that means in these frequencies and colors that we can see, which literally are the colors of the rainbow, right? So these frequencies and colors that we see, there's so much more outside of that range that we don't see that is still just as real. And these things are going on all the time, all around us in different frequencies that we cannot detect with our senses. You see, but when you go into meditation, you can begin to connect with a lot of that. Begin to connect with it. All right. And I know for me, like astral travel was a gift that I had attained from meditating. And I began to astral travel and I could do it at will. I could do it at will and literally separate from my body, see my body
Mm.
laying down, and I can travel anywhere I want to.
Matrix. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
So yeah,
Yeah. I
so
did that
that's
one
one of the.
time. No, I did that one
Mm,
time and it scared the I mean,
it would be scary. It,
I
it could
did
be
that one
scary,
time.
but
I was literally watching myself sleep in the bed, standing at the door, peeking around the door, like, that's me. That's me laying there right now. I, it was a long time ago. And since then, I haven't tried it again. I don't even know
hmm
how I did it the last time. So, yeah.
yeah, But it's part of it is landing right there in that theta state, landing
Mm.
right there in that theta state, and you realize that as consciousness, you can get out of your body just like you can get out of your car. Okay, when you're not trapped in your car, this is nothing. The body is nothing more than a physical vessel. It's a vessel. It's a vehicle for consciousness to travel and traverse the physical world. That's all it is. So at some point, so you should not be imprisoned in your body. It's just something when we become too attached to this outer experience, then we actually think we are the body.
Brother
Okay.
Diamond, real quick, just real brief, a small
Mhm.
short synopsis. Can you give your credentials again, real quick, for those in the back?
All right. So, degreed engineer, degreed uh, exercise physiologist, nutritionist, as well as a teacher and practitioner of spiritual science, neuroscience. I minored in psychology, but on my own, I've actually embarked upon neuroscience and the science of psychology, even more so, understanding the human body through and through, and also newly in the last 15 years, I've been heavily studying in our cosmology, who we are, our origins, and how we got here. So that forced me into spiritual science. So
Mm.
now I'm a practitioner and teacher in spiritual science. You know, when it comes to all that, and when you embark upon that, then that's I can't even tell you how many doors that open. So one of the things where I'm sitting at now is quantum mechanics, quantum physics. So quantum physics,
Ooh.
yeah. So when we go down that rabbit hole,
I
Mm.
don't want to.
so and so these are things that I'm actually um, not just studying, but actually perfecting my knowledge in as well. So yeah, so that's where everything connects.
Appreciate that. I just want that to be uh, shared, just in case anybody feel like, what are they talking about? We actually have
Hmm.
an elder on the board that has mastered these subjects and actually have credentials. So we the real deal. That's what I want to say. We the real
I
deal for the
say, I
community.
say, I say. I think
Hi,
now would be a good.
Corey. Go ahead.
What Corey say? No, go ahead.
The energy that makes up you can absolutely come and go as it pleases. Why do you
Mhm.
think some dreams feel so real?
Hmm.
Bars.
Now, one thing that I want to say, the one thing that I teach my students is we have to know what is us and what's not us, and it's not to dispel, but I just really want to make sure we understand some things. So there is an energy, that energy that we speak of. We are not energy. We are not energy, and I know that's shocking to a lot of people. We're not even spirit, and I know that's shocking to a lot of people. The we are what we are is the substance that's unknowable, and as far as we can actually describe it, it is consciousness. That's literally as far as we can describe it. Now again, now here's the thing. Now this is what I want you to, because I know some folks are like, no,
What?
that's a lie. Because I heard
Yeah,
this and
because
heard that.
I'm
I
I'm
I
over
I
here like,
I
what?
understand this. I
My
understand this.
brother laughing at me too because he can see my
No, I'm
facial
not.
expression.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just saying what he's saying right now. I'm glad I asked you to speak on your credentials because this is
Hmm.
where discrepancy can come into play.
That's where
And,
it can
and,
come
and
into play. But
Okay.
like I
man,
say, I'll never tell you something that I can't prove. Never ever. All right.
What's up?
It all depends on my time, how much time I got. But let me just clear that up because I don't want to leave you hanging. But when we think about consciousness, consciousness has a function, and its function is to will or to intend. At that point, that's all consciousness can do. Now, everything else is in service of consciousness. The
I
spirit
am.
is in service of of consciousness. It's a tool that consciousness uses for manifestation. So at some point, once consciousness intends, it sends out a vibration, and the quality of it is going to be determined by the emotion that's attached, and then spirit says, okay, I got you, and go and make it. Yep. And that's the way it happens all the time. It never ceases to operate in this way. And so this is why, again, when we understand, this is why meditation is so important, is so we can consciously get back in control of what we are manifesting in our lives. This is why meditation is so important. Okay. So so when we affirm something, well, remember that you're affirming it because it ain't so, but you have to start treating it like it's so. And when you do that enough times, it becomes so.
Mm.
True.
It becomes so. It won't fail. All you got to do is stick with it. It becomes so. Take things into meditation, childhood traumas, okay, which is the source of all mental illnesses today, right? Childhood traumas. I wouldn't say all, because some people just don't have the brain chemistry, but there are some childhood traumas that are primary to those chemical imbalances, and that's responsible for the way our lives are turning out. It's because we haven't addressed those traumas. We haven't addressed the conditioning, psychological conditionings caused by those events that happens in our childhood. Now, when we come back and address them, we take them into meditation. Now we can revisit them, right, through images. And once we get those images, what we can do then, we can change it by seeing ourselves responding differently in that particular scenario, right? Taking all the emotion out of it, the fear, the anger, and everything, and replacing it with peace. Because the reason why you want to do that is because peace is the essential nature of consciousness. That's the natural response to any event of consciousness in the world. Okay, it's peace. So replace it with peace. This is how you reclaim what comes after. Now, that itself can change your brain chemistry. It can change your current brain chemistry. And it can actually clear up a lot of things that are happening in your life just by removing that one piece of conditioning out of your psyche, because that was embedded in your subconscious. That was embedded in your subconscious. And remember, the subconscious is 98% responsible for your automatic responses in the world today. And we're talking about the entire automated nervous system. So the parasympathetic and the sympathetic
Mm.
is responding to that subconscious conditioning. You understand? So this is how then we can also overcome ADHD and so forth, by getting kids to relax, by getting them to meditate, and to center themselves, to feel their true selves. Okay, because all of that distraction, all of that interaction and thing, they're still responding to a confusing identity. It's like, wait, all this ain't me. I don't remember all this. They're trying to rationalize, how is it that I came from this unlimited source and now here I am limited in this form? See, that's so nobody told them that you are not the form. The form is just
Mm.
something you're using. You see? So this is where it all starts to unravel if we don't reclaim our identity or who we truly are. And this is the seat and the true purpose of meditation. Now, what did J Love say, Diamond? Please speak on my question. What's your question, beloved?
It was about it was regarding how to get started on meditation, beginning
Meditation.
Okay,
meditation.
that's where
So
we
we were
are right
set,
now.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's where we are right now. So there's several ways, and I know many of you have attempted to meditate, and it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. What's the first thing you experience when you sit down and try to meditate? You experience a bombardment of thoughts. Your mind go to racing and things
Yeah.
like this. So we call this the monkey mind. That monkey mind is just
Yep.
okay.
Chatter,
It's
chatter,
going on.
chatter.
Chatter, chatter, chatter. A lot of people, and there's been a lot of controversy on what to do about that. Well, you can't do anything about. These are just thoughts that have always been there. Now, what you can also understand is that yes, the whole traffic jam of thoughts. That's correct, Corey. And But what happens is all these thoughts are going all over the place. But remember that these are memories that is embedded in the brain. Okay, these are just these are literally neurological responses of past experiences. They're just memories. So thoughts and things like that. In other words, you can still separate yourself from them without engaging them. Just observe them. Let them go. Let them have, and they will eventually run out. But you have to be patient with yourself. It happens even with the most experienced meditators. Even it may be the first few seconds, but those thoughts are there and then they disappear. With more experience, they disappear a lot quicker. Now, the first thing that you want to do, okay, after you get down packed the ability to observe your thoughts without engaging them. So when you start thinking about what your girlfriend said earlier about so and so, don't start talking about, oh, she said that, I wonder what she meant. Don't start talking to it. Okay, that's engaging it.
Yep.
Okay, but just realize that it's there, but then just almost like ignore it. But let it be. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to get rid of it. It will disappear. Now, what you do, what the secret is now you want to start counting your breaths. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a technique that I use. This is called the Zazen technique. Okay, the Zazen technique. So right away, you want to start inhaling and exhaling. Okay, and you want to be conscious of this inhalation and exhalation. You want to put a count to it. So you're going to inhale for 4 counts, right? Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top for a second, and then exhale for 8 counts. Okay, so very, 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 very slow. And then you repeat that. And after your breath goes all the way out, take another pause, and then inhale for 4 seconds and exhale for 8 seconds. This is the Zazen technique. The goal of this is try to hold on and try to have this technique going on for 10 minutes without engaging thoughts. Keeping your focus and your consciousness on your breath for 10 minutes. Okay? That's the goal. It's going to be difficult at first. Okay, but with practice, it will definitely get easier and easier and easier. All right. So so this is how you begin to meditate. Now, what happens after that 10 minutes? What happens is your breath becomes more relaxed, and you're going to find that you're more relaxed, and there's going to be no mind chatter. There's going to be no mind chatter. Now you're into this state, and that can actually take you into the theta state. They can take you into the theta state, and now you almost like you're on this calm river, just kind of floating, and you're like, wow, this feels nice. This feels nice. And then at that point, you can start to say your affirmations. Okay? You can bring your affirmations in. And so one of mine is, I am made in the likeness of a peace that nothing can disturb. And I reclaim my peace I reclaim my peace, that I may attain my reason for coming into existence, the enjoyment of life. So what I'm doing at this point, this is the highest law of my spirit. Okay, it's the law of peace. It's reclaiming my peaceful nature. All right, it's how I overcame anger. It's how I overcame worry. It's how I increased my self-esteem and confidence. It's how I did that by bringing all of these affirmations into myself. And my affirmations are all laws of the spirit. All right. So this is how you can start to do it. So just start that with that technique. The Zazen technique is a very, very powerful technique. And I would say for most people, if you find that getting over that mind chatter is tough, then start with some guided meditation. Go to YouTube and look up guided meditation and start with some guided meditation. Let another voice guide you and try to focus on what's going on. Focus on what they're saying to you to do. If it say, they'll try to guide your mind to a certain color or to a certain part on your body and so forth, and just do what they say. And that itself, well, that can get you into meditation as well. All right. All right. So, what did we say? Can we have a discussion on energy, vibration, chi, and transition in the coming shows? Now, you sure you're ready for that? Because yeah, we can have a discussion on that. We can absolutely have a discussion on that. Okay, but just understand the can of worms that you're opening, because now you're really
Ooh.
getting into the spiritual anatomy of man. Okay, and
Mm.
chi. So, oh man, we can't even talk about chi without going
Uh,
all the way back. Go
mm,
ahead, King. Were you finna say something?
uh, peace to brother Carlos Brown. I appreciate you diving in. That was it.
Okay.
Okay.
That was,
All
can we
right.
have a discussion on energy vibe? Yeah, we can.
Oh, absolutely. We can have that discussion.
Yeah, yes, we can. I don't see
And,
anything wrong with that.
beloveds, be honest with you. This is the time to talk about things like this.
It
This is the
is.
time. We for decades we've talked about our problems, and it's really time to, and we've talked about how to cope with those problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to transcend those problems, not cope with them.
Yes.
We've got to get rid of the problems because they're not supposed to be here. They're not conducive to our reason as divine beings for being here in our creation. So we have to start. So this is the science that we need to embark upon. And I know a lot of people don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. It's enough of us that understand it to where we can keep it simple, enough to be understood. But then
Right.
it's still up to you. I encourage all of you to go and do your research. There is nothing I'm telling you today that you can't go and research on your own.
Right.
Go and do your research. All right. So yeah, so let's put that in the hat too. We talk about chi,
Absolutely.
energy, vibration, what that is, and so forth. All right. So we'll
All
talk
right.
about that. So anybody else? I mean, I'm pretty much done with my spiel. So go
No,
right
I
ahead.
no, I was serious before we got on. I said this is your show.
Mhm.
And I
Oh,
meant
okay.
that. Today is your
Okay.
show.
Well, I'm at the
This is
Q&A part of my show.
you answered you if they had any questions, you answered them along the way. All they had to do was sit back and listen.
I say
You answered it all. What was the meditation technique?
that
This is
technique
Trey
is called
asking.
the Zazen. So Zazen, Zazen
Zazen.
technique.
I am
Hmm.
definitely going to try that tonight.
Hmm.
Inhale 4, out 8.
Hmm. Yep, real slow. And here's another thing: when you're doing your breathing exercises, you're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
do diaphragmatic breathing. Breathe from the diaphragm, not intercostal breathing.
Right.
Intercostal breathing, you have
Okay.
chest rise and fall.
Right.
Okay, we want diaphragmatic breathing, and it's your belly that expands out on the inhalation and
Mm-hmm.
exhale and pull it all the way in. The chest should not be rising and falling. It should be the belly that's going in and out like a bellow. Okay, so that's how, because at that point now you got oxygen getting all the way down to the alveoli, which is the air sacs in the lungs. It's filling those babies up, and now you got oxygen transfer and so forth. All right,
Okay.
so
Okay.
that's important to understand as well. All right.
You wrote that
um
down. Thank you.
mhm.
Do you do music, or do you just the silence, just in a room in
it, it all
peaceful
depends.
room?
Now it all depends. When I actually have work to do in my meditation,
Mm-hmm.
I do it in silence. I do it
Okay.
in silence. Uh, but when I want to be whisked away to a certain energy and vibration, when I just want to, then I meditate and do it to certain music. So I might
Mm-hmm.
listen to some binaural beats, and they
Mm.
come in different
Some
frequencies as
whoa
well.
whoa some who beats.
By,
Binaural.
by
Binaural. Yeah.
mhm.
Ooh.
So you can find those line. You can
YouTube.
find those on YouTube as well. Uh huh.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have certain tones. I have certain chi tones that I actually run through my ear for about 20 minutes. A
Okay.
mid tone, a low tone, and a high tone. And it all depends again what I'm trying to attune my frequency to.
Okay.
So those tones actually help. So remember that in your ear you have the smallest bones in the body, right? And they vibrate according to certain time. Now when that vibration happens, that vibration is going all throughout your whole body. Okay, that vibration is going throughout your whole body. And remember what happens with certain vibration. We If the body is 70 to 75% water, just think, what are you doing to the body?
You know the
You're
ripple effects.
when you exactly when you are subjecting it to high vibration, then that water, the molecular structure of the water in your body is also changing. Okay, it's changing just like a snowflake. And we've seen, have you seen Dr. Emoto's work? The guy who flash froze water drops, crystallized water drops after he put words on the. Oh, I got to share this with you guys, at some point. So maybe we'll
Mm,
talk about that when we get into energy, vibration, and chi. So I'll
mm.
have to show you his work. Blew me away. I mean, that work was like, and it just so happened I noticed too when I go to certain places and I start to notice snowflakes, in certain places, and how the snowflakes were different in certain places between Chicago and Wisconsin, like Chicago and Milwaukee and Indiana and so forth. I start paying attention to the snowflakes. The snowflakes look different. Some of them didn't even look like snowflakes. Some of them were very beautiful. Depends on where you were, but that had a lot to do with the consciousness of the people that the snow was falling on. Yep, had a lot to do with that. So like I say, we have a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about.
Um, we did a test, me and my children, when I was trying to get them to understand how their thoughts are very powerful. Um, the rice test.
Mm.
Yeah. Two boards, two bowls of rice, love, hate. Um,
Hmm.
and then we would go down and we would speak life into the love rice. And then we
Hmm.
will speak hate into the hate rice. And at the end of the week, oh, oh, you know what, brother? I was just talking about you today at my brunch with the ladies. I'll tell you that in a minute. And you can tell the difference with the rice at the end of the week. That one that was sitting on the hate card, it was actually more molded than the one we were
Hmm.
speaking like. But
Yes,
your thoughts and your thoughts and your words are very very powerful.
Mm.
So yeah,
very powerful, and that's what
yeah,
Dr. Emoto proved as well. Is that
yeah.
so? Remember, when we talk about words are actually spells, believe that. That's why we spell words. They are actually spells. So understand you're sending out vibration. So you have to be very careful. And we have to talk about that, the N word and the use of the N word, because there's too many people that are trying to hold on to that. And I personally got something to say about it. I want to drop the science on that. So
Dre, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Who's he
no,
talking
no,
about?
go for it. So yeah, so Dre, what are you saying? I know I'm not
Yeah,
tripping, but your voice keeps changing.
keeps
Are you talking
changing.
about my
Who is he
voice?
referring to?
Maybe it's my voice. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
Gotta
probably
try to
hear
with
it
your kids.
fluctuating.
Do it, Jay. Jay, do it.
Mm.
Do it,
Yeah.
Jay. And send me what you get. Send me, yeah, at the end of your week. Are you talking
Okay.
about me or
I think he was
Dion?
talking about me. You're
Yeah.
probably hearing the fluctuations as I express different degrees of passion as I'm talking. That can change. It can change my voice. I mean, unless you've
Okay,
been smoking. I
Carlos.
mean, no, I don't know. You're not tripping though.
Suggestions on
Mm.
breaking the barriers on the minds of our people not being able to engage positively.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a future discussion. Yep.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
well, what one of the thing is what we're talking about, and I would say that this is also a continuation of what we talked about last time when we talked about accountability. Meditation is one way that we take accountability, personal accountability. All right. So That's one way. And in fact, it's a major way. I'm not going to say it's the only way, but it's a major way. Everything is going to come back to everybody taking their accountability on
Mm.
their personal selves, and we're talking about being able to engage positively. All right, so
Mm.
that's an individual and personal journey that we all must take. But I think
What would
meditation is
we name
definitely one of
that?
the ways.
Suggestions on
Hmm?
breaking the barriers of mind. How would we title that?
I don't know, but we
I
could talk
want to do
about we
that
could.
as soon as possible. I know next week, I still want to talk about inheritance versus debt. I really do.
All right, but that's on you, beloved. It'll be your show.
Hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I'm up for inheritance versus debt. When it comes to leaving
Hmm.
behind assets to the generation that's coming up behind us, and having wills in place and life insurance. I think it's something to. I don't want my kids doing a GoFundMe to bury me if something
Oh,
was to happen
okay.
to me.
We can talk about that. We can talk
Yeah.
about that.
Okay.
I love that. I love that. J Love. Be happy, be free, and meditate.
I know that's
Mm.
right.
Absolutely. So do y'all are y'all familiar with the story of the Buddha?
No,
Yes,
How the Buddha.
Siddhartha. Yeah.
I'm not.
Siddhartha. All right. So
I'm
well, it
listening.
just the end thing. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the end
Yeah.
thing
I
is
know her
just
story.
when he was searching for enlightenment.
Hmm.
Right. He was searching for enlightenment. So he went. He had all these people telling him, get enlightenment this way, get it this way. He got to the point to where he was eating only a grain of rice a day, and he wouldn't eat food, and he was doing this yoga stuff and all this other kind of stuff. And he was noticing that with all the practices and all the different methods he was taking to reach enlightenment, as he had been instructed to by these other gurus, he had not reached enlightenment. So what he did, he went to go sit down beneath a tree, and he sat there and he started contemplating, and that's where he reached enlightenment. So what he did, he meditated, and that became that. This is why the Buddhist monks pride themselves in being able to meditate. So it's not about all of this, all these trickeries and things like that, but it's literally just about contemplation. It's
Hmm.
about contemplation. It's about reflection. So that's the crux of the story of the Buddha. And realizing that even though he didn't have to, but he left a palace. He left his um, princehood in order to set out, because he saw that there was trouble in the world. He set out. He took it upon himself to go and change the world by his example, and that he did. That
Mm.
he did. Um, so I just want you to know that this is just how powerful meditation is. And there are different forms of meditation. You can pick a form that you want, or just simply do what I've suggested tonight. It's really not that much of a trick to it. You just got to get over some barriers. And one thing that I always say, that there's we actually, I show my students how to write meditation scripts. There's an actual script that we write. Going from the scenario, um, then you think of the affirmation, and then you think of a reward for attaining the affirmation, and so we have different steps of this particular meditation script that you have to think out. You have to think out prior to actually meditating. So okay, so that way when you get into meditation, you know exactly what your goal is. You know exactly what it is you're going in to do. And then you do that as many times as necessary to attain the outcome. So that's that. How far along are we? Are we good?
We're good. We're at an hour and 34 minutes. I just kind of went to
Hmm.
go check Facebook. Pictures just be popping up. Dang, John. Anyway, we can go ahead and close out. tonight's topic was meditation. Tonight's showstopper was Diamond, of course. What did she say? Meditation, skit scenario, affirmation, and reward. She is like really writing all of this down. You go, J Love. She's learning a lot. I have wrote some stuff down myself. All emotions are chemical reactions in the body. If you want to further, if you want to go further, you have to think higher. Meditation helps to elevate yourself, and meditation helps with affirmations. Just
No
a
cap.
few things. Just a few things I've learned tonight listening to Diami. I want to thank you all for jumping in on tonight's live. Does anybody have anything they want to say?
I personally just want to say, when Brother Diamond was finna jump off into spells and understand the powers and the words that you use, and understanding the words that you use, they have meanings, and based off of that, you're speaking things 100% into existence, existing. Again, thought, like he spoke earlier on thought, in which manifestation of you into this reality. So just think about that every time you go to speak to somebody, how you talk to them. You know, that too can be meditation.
We can make that a show.
Oh, I thought y'all already agreed on that. John agreed for
Oh, John, what, did he? What,
it. John had that look like I had that look. Like that could be deep. Very deep.
Yeah. We're gonna do we're gonna go light and then go a little heavy the next week afterward. Next week we're gonna keep it light, and then after that we're gonna drop a bomb. Let's go for it. That'll
Oh,
give us time to prepare in 2 weeks for this particular conversation. Yeah. We're
yeah,
gonna keep it
spells is the
light.
mother.
Yeah. That's what and
Spells is
that's
the mother.
yeah.
Yes.
Words are nothing more than spells spoken. Is that the title?
We won't say nothing more because that's we have to understand that we don't want to take away from it because that it is exactly what it is. Okay.
Facts. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay. All right, we'll keep it light for next week, and then the week after that, we'll go ahead and drop that. I'm gonna call it a
My
bomb.
recommendation.
Yes.
My recommendation to no I just wanted to say this. My recommendation for the audience members in your pursuit, in your journey, in your endeavor for meditation, understand that it's not about success or failure. Okay, it's not about success or failure. There is no successful meditation. There is no failed meditation. I just want to remind you guys: talk less, observe more. That is your key ingredient in meditation. Talk less, observe more. Talk less, observe more. In here, you're still talking. Okay? Talk less in here, in the mind. Observe. Didn't say cling on, engage, talk. Observe. Observe your thoughts. Just observe. Talk less, and it will become clear.
I say. I
Bars.
say.
No cap.
That's
That
right.
what
Brother, you
what
have
you just
anything you
said. I just want to say what John just said is called a flux capacitor. And John, I mean, I'm sorry, Master John Skywalker. I know why you're laughing.
What am I gonna do with y'all? What am I gonna do with y'all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What am I gonna do with y'all? Lord
Nice
have
say.
mercy. Let me go look at the
Well, indeed.
date. All right.
Well,
That
I
was
hope.
it, brother. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to finally say that I hope they cleared it up, and it's really so much more. And like I said, I wasn't going to go deep um, with it. There was so
Mhm.
much more, so many more levels to meditation and everything. And when it comes to not just the benefits, but the practice and the purpose for the practice and things like that. So, but I just hope what was shared tonight was enough to get people started and interested in this particular practice. And the more that we engage in this, the better the world becomes. The better the world
Right.
becomes. So I just invite you all to pick up your meditation practices. We got people all around that can help you out with that. So thank you for allowing me to serve you tonight.
Uh, Always. And if you jumped in late, meditation can be used for increasing self-awareness, focusing on the present, reducing negative emotions, increasing imagination and creativity, increasing patience and tolerance, lowering your heart rate, blood pressure, improve sleep quality. It's also used for anxiety, asthma, cancer, chronic pain, depression, heart disease, high blood pressure, IBS. Oh, what did it say? Oh, okay, anyway. And tension headaches have a lot of benefits to just sitting quietly, and it's called the Zing
Zazen,
Zazen
Zazen,
Zen.
Zazen.
Zazen.
Yeah,
Zazen.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
have to say it a couple more times. With that being said, I want to thank everyone for jumping in on tonight's. Yeah, I think. Wait a minute, brother John.
Did I? Oh, is that what we're doing? Because you said
That's
John.
that's that's a normal thing.
Oh, okay.
That's a
Let me
normal
see.
thing.
All right. Let's try something.
All right,
Let's
yeah,
try. Let's just give it a try.
go
I
ahead.
was one. Now I'm splitting me in two. Two is my name, but it's really short for do wall. Through mitosis, I was divided into lower and higher frequencies, so I became bipolar. God split an atom and named it Eve. The Greek numeral represents me as a bee. The Roman numeral is a picture of I getting besides myself. So ahead of my time, a double date is a 2-day vacay on a Tuesday, which is 2 day. Nope, nope, but you already know. Touche. I'm too real like a cavity, they too fake. That's duality. I'm too black, hair is too curly. I double time, so I'm too early.
Mm.
If you're too live, put your twos up. Been saying two so long you think it's too much. I'm giving a parallels, a lecture and a lesson. A race against time, one first and 1 second. Two, the first number to be second from the one here and there were the first dimensions, directions. Manifest a diagram in its third dimension with a million dichotomies yet to be dissected from my sharp mind. Meditation in my fly zone, forever young, I won't die old like semiconductors. Split personality as I look in the mirror because I'm a pair. My object is closer than I appear. Two versions of myself, that's a diversion. One shadow, one light, they are divergent. In my dialogue, my dialect is diametric. Kiss of death is sweet, but I am diabetic. My diaphragm is a pencil, it draws breath. So many ways to die, but I ain't talking about death.
I say I
This
can
is
actually
things
give you
that
one
you
of
don't want to
these.
talk about. Brought to you by God Level. See y'all back next week. Mwah.